Good evening. My name is Trace Jenkins, and I'm a member of our school investment club. With the increasing dominance of online trading, the investment club has decided to start using an online trading site. My job is to explore our options and make a recommendation as to which site to use. Before exploring the sites, we had to determine what our requirements were in an online trading site. We started our exploration by reviewing our Constitution. We have fairly specific rules about trading. For example, you cannot trade options, and you can only participate in IPOs if the company's market capitalization is at least $100 million. Based on this, we knew we did not need a trading site with a lot of what I consider to be exotic trades. Our next step was to determine how much capital we had to trade with and how much the average trade was going to be. At the last club meeting, I determined we were going to be allowed to trade with $20,000 initially. With that, we had to diversify into at least 15 different securities. That meant our average trade was going to be somewhere in the $1,300 range. Also, because we have to vote on each trade, we are only looking at 1 or 2 trades a week. Based on this information, we determined we required the ability to trade in stocks and bonds, low trade commission costs, low monthly fees, and because we are somewhat inexperienced investors, we required good research tools. Now that we know what the requirements of our online trading site are, we need to develop criteria to evaluate sites against these requirements. Since all of these sites offered stocks and bonds for the U.S. markets, we decided to make one of our criteria the ability to access foreign exchanges. While this was not a critical element, we did want to consider it. Our next 2 criteria were the cost of a trade and monthly maintenance fees. These were easy to obtain, and we used the criteria to rank each site. Finally, we wanted to evaluate the quality of the tools available. This was subjective, and we decided to have each student in the investment club evaluate the site and provide a score. The average score was used to rank each site. Before we finished developing the criteria, we decided to weight each one. Access to foreign exchanges was 10% of the total score. Cost of trade and monthly trade costs were each 25% of the total score. And quality of tools was 40% of the total score. We started out to determine how many sites we wanted reviewed by looking at Barron's 2011 online broker review. They had 24 sites on that review, but that was still too many. We took their, as a starting point, we took their average cost of monthly fees based on 6 trades a month and 2 options trades, and took the top 10% by lowest price. Half of these sites provided access to foreign exchanges. In most cases, the access required us to call the broker in order to make a trade. All the sites had very low commissions, with 9 of the 10 being $5 or less per trade, and the other site, Merrill Edge, was $8.95 per trade. Monthly costs could be expensive, but there were a lot of options to mitigate this. One of the biggest ones for all the sites was requesting electronic confirmations and electronic statements instead of getting them by paper. If we were to get them by paper, in a lot of cases it would range from $3 to $5 a month for the statements. So we decided that no matter which firm we went with, we would request electronic trading. As I mentioned earlier, the real difficulty is in rating the tool quality. And tool quality includes things like access to reports, access to real-time quotes, charting, things like that, ease of use of the site. Some of the sites were geared towards affluent investors. Other sites just didn't provide enough bang for what we were looking for. We had each student in the investment club rate the tools on a scale of 1 to 16, and then we took an average for that After adding up all the scores, we found three brokers were within a point of each other. These included Interactive Brokers, Lightspeed Trading, and Just to Trade. Interactive Brokers was the only one with access to international exchanges, but it was really geared towards the more affluent active trader. It had a lot of stuff we didn't need, and it was actually kind of busy when you looked at the different trading platforms. Lightspeed and Just to Trade were good quality systems for what we're looking for, kind of a basic beginning investor kind of site. Just to Trade was maybe a little too basic. For Lightspeed, it had the trading tools we needed, it had the research tools we needed. So it was easy to use, allowed us to research and analyze stocks, and it also provided some educational links. So we're recommending Lightspeed as our investment tool for the investment club. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to review the sites, and if you would like any assistance setting up the account, please let me know, and I look forward to